Hi, I'm Nolan Baker, the founder of America's Retirement Headquarters, and I just wanted to thank you for taking a few minutes to talk a little bit about what becoming a consulting services client looks like and all the value that you get by working with our firm. First of all, I wanted to make sure that if you haven't had an opportunity, make sure that you either ask our office or the advisor who shared this video with you for a copy of our Get to Know Us brochure. Within our Get to Know Us brochure, what you're going to find out is a little bit of the background about where America's Retirement Headquarters was founded at. But when I looked at it, it really was a single piece of paper that I wrote down. The goals was to educate all Americans on how to be financially independent. And with that, really, that's where the mission and vision was born here of building out America's Retirement Headquarters. Then, when I decided to launch America's Retirement Headquarters, what I thought about is I thought about what is the characteristic that makes America, well, America. You know, as a veteran owned business and somebody who served in the United States Marine Corps, what I think about is I think about the thoughts of the Constitution, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because in reality, that's really what retirement time looks like as well. And that's really where we then developed the team approach. So the team approach was to bring like-minded financial advisors together across the United States so we could share in that vision of helping people get through and transition and enjoy the retirement years. We develop an approach, it's called the team approach. Within that team approach, what we do is we look at taxes, estate planning, asset protection, and money management. And then the next step that we've done in developing the overall approach to develop the comprehensive approach to help you develop your overall plan is we created the client binder. And within the client binder, what we have is we have a variety of different tools and resources that are here to help assist you to make smart, educated decisions about what are the next steps to be able to make when beginning and getting through that retirement journey. So first and foremost, as we look into the binder, one of the things that you'll notice is during a lot of these sections, we have QR codes. And so if you've been to any restaurant lately, you'll notice a lot of the QR codes are things that you can scan. They'll get to a menu, tell you additional information. The same would be true with the binders. Anytime you see a QR code, know that's an item that you can scan on your phone to get additional information that'll walk you through more in-depth information and more tools and resources that you have access to. The first part of building out your retirement is working through what we would refer to as the discovery process. So the output is only going to be as good as what we input into the plan. Within this, during that first meeting, we're going to spend time talking to you about your individual goals and objectives. Where are you at in your retirement journey? And what are the goals and objectives that you want to accomplish now, maybe over the next year or in the next 5 years? What are the type of issues or concerns that you faced up to this point that you want to eliminate? We'll talk to you about what you've done so far in those different issues, like how have you been managing your money so far, what has been working for you, what are the things that you'd like to see different, what have you done for your taxes to try to minimize your taxes now and in the future, estate planning, what are the legal documents in place, what have you done to review your beneficiary designations, asset protection, how are you going to get your health insurance if you retire before the age 65, what are you going to do to transition into Medicare? And how do you protect your assets down the road if you or a loved one needs some long-term medical care? We're also probably going to give you a little bit of a homework assignment. Now, within that homework assignment is called our Asset Manager Form. Within the Asset Manager Form, we're going to dive a little bit deeper, and we're going to begin to talk to you about things like your children, information we're going to need to know ultimately for things like who are going to be your beneficiaries. We're going to ask to collect information like your most recent financial statements so we can do a deep analysis and provide you a feedback when we create an independent portfolio analysis for you. We might look for your taxes, your home and auto insurance. There could be other things that we get for you. The more information we're able to gather, the better we're able to give you some feedback and advice on how to take it up a notch or maybe potential blind spots that you could be facing. At the same time, what I would say is this is a journey. It's not just a one-time type of an occurrence. So if there's something that you don't have, maybe you feel you have an outdated investment statement, just do the best that you can. Because when you get back together with your advisor, what we can do is we can kind of answer any of those questions you're not sure of. And if there's something that we need to get in the future, we can always get that information. We are then going to take all of that information, we're going to compile it all together, and what we're going to do is we are going to write up a summary of our observations. That summary of our observations is called our team action plan. Within the team action plan, we're going to focus on the core trademark system that our firm has. It's called the independent income system. So within the independent income system, what we're going to do is we're going to help you and give you advice and guidance on how to help better manage your money, protect your hard-earned assets, and efficiently plan your estate. Then within the team action plan, we're going to break each of those sections down, and we're going to talk about the different areas that are impacting you financially. So the T stands for taxes. We're going to look at what are the threats that you're facing this year within taxes. What are the steps that you could potentially take to reduce your taxes now or in the future? I would also say that I'm not a CPA or an accountant, so we have professionals that we can refer you to. You might have a great professional that you work with. One of the great things about the team approach is if you have somebody that's already part of your team and they're going to add value to our relationship, we're more than happy to help quarterback that situation and work with your team to achieve the best outcomes from you. Or if you're looking for a second opinion, just know that we have some resources and other referrals that we can get you connected with to help take you through that approach. The same would be true through asset protection. So looking at the health insurance, the long-term care, the Medicare solutions, we're going to look at that in the team approach. For M, the money management, we're going to look at things like the differences of circuit breakers and developing a system that could be designed to protect you if and when we have another major market sell-off. We're going to look at the cost analysis. What is the grade point average of your portfolio? How is the risk in your portfolio measured, and does the risk line up with what your individual goals and objectives are? We'll take all of that information, and within the team approach, what we're going to do is we're going to list out each and every one of those areas that talk about how we can help take it up a notch, and or if there's any blind spots or traps that could knock you off guard. So this is kind of going to be your core overall planning approach, putting it together. And we're going to also use a lot of the different tools and resources that we have here to be able to give you that information to be able to put it all together. What oftentimes you might find at this point is it becomes a little bit overwhelming. So, I mean, it took me an entire lifetime to get to this point. And, you know, we're not looking to necessarily solve everything in one meeting. We're looking for a journey that could take 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. So in taking this approach, you might look at the 10 or 15 different recommendations that we have. You might say back to your advisor, hey, I love all 15. Let's do them all. Then what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize those. You might say, I like these 10 recommendations. I don't want to do those 5 recommendations. And there again, we're going to give you advice on what we think is in your best interest, acting as your chief financial officer. But just know at every point that you have the ability to make the decisions of which of any of these areas you want to implement to be able to get things taken care of. And this approach can be completely customized to what is in, your desire outcomes that you want to achieve. As we break these sections down, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at one of the sections where we look at taxes. I'm a big believer in checklist. So we have various checklists that we've put together. Our CFO checklist, looking at 25 critical things every retiree needs to know within those 3 categories of managing their money, protecting their assets, or efficiently planning their estate. We also, in the tax section, what we have the tax savers checklist. So the tax savers checklist, we're looking at things like, does it make sense to consider a Roth conversion? Have you created a tax roadmap for this year that maps out, is there any ability to convert money over into a Roth IRA now and take advantage of the current tax law versus where tax rates might be in the future with the out of control spending. We're going to walk you through the different time frames that you need to be aware of at different ages, such as when can you withdraw money tax favorably from a 401k versus an IRA. The Secure Act 2.0 law went into effect at the end of 2022. So looking at things like new rules and regulations for required minimum distributions. There's new rules and regulations for contributions for those of you who are not yet retired. So the Tax Savers Checklist is going to allow us to walk through all of those different areas and again, give us a roadmap that now we can sit down and work with you and or a tax professional to be able to help put it all together. When we get through that section, the next section that we're going to go through is we're going to go through your overall estate planning. When we look at estate planning, this is an area that you only get one shot at getting it right. What we do is we have taken our years of experience and we've created the ultimate estate planning checklist. When we're looking at the ultimate estate planning checklist, what we're doing is we're going through and we're identifying things like beneficiary mistakes. You may or may not know that certain financial assets go through your will and certain assets don't. So again, if you have somebody named as a beneficiary of your 401k, it doesn't necessarily matter what is in your will if you have a named beneficiary. These are oftentimes where different mistakes happen. In fact, we see all the time people that have forgotten to put what is called a secondary or a contingent beneficiary. If you have a blended family, maybe you're in a second marriage or your kids are in a second marriage, walking through what some of those issues look like, how to be able to kind of help address them and put them together. I'm sure, like many of us, you've seen a family be blown up when a lost one is, gone. And we want to try to prevent that from happening in the past. I would say that a lot of clients will tell us, Nolan, the perfect retirement for us is that my wife and I, we spend every dime and our last penny bounces. And that might be a perfect plan for you too. I have other clients that say, Nolan, we've been very successful in life and we'd like to learn a little bit more about how to make a bigger significance to an organization or our community that's important to us. That's really what this process is going to do. We also aren't attorneys, so you're not going to have to worry about a clock ticking in the background. Again, it's part of the consulting services relationship where we're going to get you ready, walk through the issues that we see from a financial perspective. And as you know, as we talk about each of these sections, one overlaps the other. So the decisions that you make with things like your beneficiary designations are going to have an impact on your overall estate plans. No different than the decisions that you make on your finances are going to impact your taxes. The next section that we're going to walk through is the asset protection. So within the asset protection, we're going to look at a couple of categories. We're going to help guide you and navigate through what is a complicated marketplace that's out there. So it's things like if you're going to retire before the age 65, what you may not know is the Affordable Care Act is an income, not an asset-based test. There's steps that you could take now that could allow you to significantly reduce your healthcare cost. You might have questions about, should I pay off my mortgage and eliminate that before I move into retirement time? But you may not be aware of how that could impact things like your Medicare cost. And then the issue of down the road, if you or a loved one needs some type of long-term medical care, looking at traditional long-term medical coverage, that type of insurance is an option, but it ultimately is an extremely expensive option, and it tends to be kind of use it or lose it. Here at America's Retirement Headquarters, we're going to walk you through all of the options that are available and hopefully be able to find a solution that allows you to protect your assets without spending money on traditional long-term care insurance. Putting this all together, then as we begin to develop the plan, it's all going to circle back to now your customized approach and what is called the independent income system. In the independent income system, we're going to help you look at the different phases of your retirement. What do you need now from current income? What are the sources of your retirement income? How much of that retirement income need is covered from reliable sources like Social Security, pensions, maybe annuities, and what of it is variable income? Are there any gaps in that coverage? what are the steps that we can take to try to maximize the amount of lifetime income you get from you and your surviving spouse. And what you may not know is, according to the most recent statistic, nearly 70% of retired Americans are selecting to take Social Security early, accepting a lifetime penalty for a benefit because of misinformation and because of maybe not looking at how to maximize their lifetime income plan. We're going to talk about how to fight off inflation and steps to be able to take that are designed to get you a pay raise in the future. Then we're going to talk to you about long-term growth, how to develop a formula-based investment approach so you finally understand the purpose of what investments are owned in your account, when you're going to need them, and what design and what time frame they're going to be used for. We're again going to look at emergency accounts, identify what are the type of accounts that you're going to pull from when life throws you a what if, and talk about how do we leverage those accounts. Many times people, when they look at the independent income system, they say, Nolan, that's really the first time I really understand how my investments and finances were all put together, which is why I've trademarked this system, the independent income system. So then the question then becomes, well, what could blow it up? And one of the things that could blow it up is an unexpected and unplanned for healthcare crisis. So within the independent income system, we're going to put a shield over top of those, working again through that asset protection planning process. And then in the bottom, what we're going to do is we're going to work on the estate planning part of the overall approach. After we get this all together, just know that now we're ready to go. We've got your plan customized and mapped out and put together for you. But this is also continued fun where the journey begins. So we're going to ask that once we get everything put in place, that you come back into the office in 30 or 45 days. In 30 or 45 days, what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through what is called a Get Connected process. Within the Get Connected process, we're going to walk through how to be able to get online to be able to see your accounts. We're going to make sure that we customize the communication to see what information you want to get, whether it's statements provided by your custodian or how to get communication from our office and what type of ways do you want our office to communicate. We're going to show you how to get plugged into the events that are going to be held here locally, which events you have access to through our learning library online at our YouTube channel. You're going to learn about different things and tools and resources that you have to take advantage of and different technology. So that Get Connected meeting is a way to make sure that we get you plugged in. The other things that you're going to find as we kind of wrap up this overall tools and resources in the binders, you're going to learn more about the team. So again, we appreciate you taking the time to meet with your advisor and learn a little bit about a consulting services relationship. Just know that your advisor has the entire team here at America's Retirement Headquarters to help put this all together. And you, as part of the family, as a consulting services client, also have our team to be able to help you put it all together. And by putting this all together, this is the way that we have developed our overall approach at America's Retirement Headquarters to help you develop a plan to better manage your money, protect your hard-earned assets, and efficiently plan your estate. If you want to learn a little bit more about us, again, visit us online at ARHQ.com. Or if you have any additional questions about what a consulting services relationship looks like, be sure to talk to the advisor that you met with, and they'd be happy to get you any additional information. We look forward to taking the journey together. And again, my name is Nolan Baker, the founder of America's Retirement Headquarters. I just thank you for taking this time to get to know us a little bit, and I look forward to the journey together.